Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. We all know how fast things are moving in the world of AI. It seems like every day there's a new development.
Yeah, keeping up can feel like a full-time job. But don't worry, that's what we're here for.
Right. Today we're doing a deep dive into the latest and greatest from Midjourney, specifically their brand new V7 model.
It's been making quite a splash, and for good reason. We've been combing through all the information we can find, really digging deep into a recent in-depth article and an insightful video review.
We want to cut through the noise and give you the key insights, especially what these changes mean for creators like you.
Absolutely. By the end of this, you'll have a clear understanding of what V7 brings to the table and how you can leverage its power in your own work.
So first things first, how do we even get our hands on V7?
Well, from what we've gathered, it's actually pretty straightforward. You simply add two hyphens, V, space, and then the number 7 to the end of your prompts. It's as easy as that.
Okay, so just tack on V7 to the end. Nice and simple. Exactly. So let's say you're looking to create an image of, I don't know, a peaceful lakeside cabin with the morning mist rising as the sun comes up.
Sounds idyllic.
Right. Your prompt could be something like a peaceful lakeside cabin, morning mist, sunrise V7, and of course you can add any other parameters you want, like the aspect ratio using R16.9.
So that little Bhavagi 7 tag is what tells Midjourney to use the new model. Got it. But there's also this talk about a V7 personalization feature. That sounds intriguing, but also maybe a bit more involved.
It is an extra step, but it seems well worth the effort if you really want to harness the full potential of V7.
What does it entail exactly?
Basically, you need to head over to a specific URL. It's midjourney.com/rank-V7 and rank approximately 200 images. You're essentially showing the AI your preferences by choosing between pairs of images. It's a way for V7 to learn your specific artistic taste.
So it's like training the AI to understand what I find visually appealing. That's actually pretty cool.
It is. Think of it as fine-tuning the model to align with your own unique creative vision.
It's like having a personal AI assistant that gets to know your style.
Precisely. Now, another thing that both the article and the video highlighted was V7's full compatibility with what they call SREF codes from the previous version, 6.1.
SREF codes. Can you remind us what those are and why this compatibility is such a big deal?
Sure. So SREF codes, short for style reference codes, were introduced with version 6.1. They allow you to specify a particular visual style for your images using unique codes.
Ah, right, like a shorthand for referencing certain aesthetics.
Exactly. And what's really exciting is that V7 fully supports all those existing codes. This is huge for several reasons. First, it ensures consistency in your work. If you found a style you loved in version 6.1, you can use the same SREF code in V7 and get that same look.
That's a huge time saver, not having to reinvent the wheel every time.
Exactly. And second, it opens up incredible possibilities for reusing and remixing those stylistic elements from your past projects. You can easily bring back specific looks without having to start from scratch.
So it's like having a library of visual styles that you can tap into at any time.
That's a great way to put it. And get this, you can even combine multiple SREF codes in a single prompt.
Wow, so you can blend different styles together.
You got it. This level of creative control is unprecedented. Imagine blending, say, a cyberpunk aesthetic with a touch of Renaissance painting.
The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
They really are. The article even gave us an example. Cyberpunk-style future city, neon lights, rainy day V7 ref, 211 alum 1100605, R16.9.
So that ref number there, 211110605, is pulling in a specific cyberpunk look.
Precisely. And this opens up a whole world of creative exploration.
I'm already thinking of all the combinations I want to try. But before we get too carried away, let's talk speed. Both sources raved about the significant increase in image generation speed with V7.
Oh yeah, speed is always a good thing.
Right, especially when you're in that creative flow, you don't want to be interrupted by long wait times.
Absolutely. The reports indicate that V7 is somewhere between 20 and 30% faster than V6.
20 to 30%? That's a pretty noticeable difference. What does that translate to in real-world terms?
Well, think about it this way. Let's say it used to take you 10 minutes to generate a complex image in V6. With V7, that could be down to 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay, that does add up, especially if you're creating multiple variations or a whole series of images.
Exactly. And this speed boost isn't just about saving a few minutes here and there. It can fundamentally change how you approach your creative process. You can iterate faster, explore more ideas, and ultimately get to those stunning results more efficiently.
So, more experimenting, less waiting. I like the sound of that.
Me too. And this speed improvement should also translate to a more stable server response, even when there's a lot of people using Midjourney.
Less lag, fewer slowdowns, always a plus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, the video also mentioned that V7 currently offers relax and turbo modes, with a standard speed mode expected to be released soon.
What's the deal with those modes?
So relax mode prioritizes using less computing power, even if it takes a bit longer. Turbo mode is all about speed, even if it costs a bit more. Interestingly, turbo mode actually costs double per job compared to a standard V6 job.
Mm.
And then we have draft mode, which uses about half the GPU hours and is considerably cheaper.
Draft mode, we'll have to dig into that more in a bit.
We will. So basically, you have different options depending on your priorities and budget.
Options are always good. Okay, so we've covered speed, but let's get to what everyone is really curious about. The image quality. Both the article and the video used phrases like major leap forward and substantial improvement in realism. Those are pretty bold claims.
Yeah, they didn't hold back on the praise, and honestly, from what we've seen, it seems justified.
Okay, but let's get specific. Where exactly are we seeing these improvements? What should we be looking for?
Well, the most notable improvements seem to be in the areas of skin details, lighting, and overall photographic realism.
Those are pretty critical elements, especially if you're aiming for photorealistic or hyper-realistic images.
Absolutely. The way light and shadow interact with objects is apparently much more nuanced and believable in V7. It's like the AI has a deeper understanding of physics and how light behaves in the real world.
So we're getting away from that sometimes artificial look that plagued earlier AI-generated images.
It definitely seems that way.
Yeah.
And the rendering of materials, like skin, fabric, and metal, is also much improved. There's more detail, more texture, more of that you can almost touch it feeling.
Wow, that's impressive. And what about human faces? We all know how tricky those can be for AI.
Right, that uncanny valley effect can be a real challenge. But from what we've gathered, V7 seems to have made significant progress in this area as well. Human expressions and poses are reportedly much more natural and convincing.
So we're getting fewer of those creepy, vacant stares and awkward poses.
It seems so. The article even mentioned a specific comparison prompt you can try. Roman centurion, photorealistic, left, V7 right, V6.1. They said the difference is pretty stark.
I'll definitely have to check that out. Seeing is believing, right? Now, let's circle back to that personalization feature we touched on earlier. The video really emphasized that V7 is the first Midjourney model with this enabled by default.
Right, and it seems like a really powerful tool, especially as you use the model more and more.
But you did mention that we can turn it off if we want to. Why would someone choose to do that?
Well, there might be situations where you want more control over the output and don't necessarily want the AI injecting its learned preferences into the image. Maybe you're working on a specific project with very strict stylistic guidelines.
I see, so it's about flexibility.
Exactly. Personalization is there to help, not to hinder.
And what kind of impact does personalization actually have on the images? Is it noticeable?
From what the video reviewer observed, personalized images do tend to have more, well, personality. They often exhibit unique details and color palettes that align with the user's preferences. It's like the AI becomes more attuned to your aesthetic over time.
It's like having an AI art buddy who learns your style and can anticipate what you're looking for.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to something that really caught our attention in the video, this new draft mode.
I was wondering about that. What exactly is draft mode and how does it fit into our creative process?
It's basically a way to generate lower quality images very quickly. Think of it as a brainstorming tool, a way to rapidly explore different ideas and concepts without having to wait for full quality renders.
So it's like sketching with AI.
Exactly. You can quickly generate a bunch of drafts, see what works, what doesn't, and then refine those ideas further.
Interesting. And the video mentioned that it can even be used like chat interface with voice input.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about it. You can literally talk to Midjourney and see your ideas take shape visually, almost instantly. It really speeds up that initial ideation phase.
So we get these quick and dirty drafts. What do we do with them next?
Well, you have a couple of options. You can either enhance those drafts directly, essentially telling Midjourney to take that initial concept and develop it into a higher quality image, or you can use a draft as a starting point for creating variations.
So we can either refine the draft itself or use it to branch out in different directions.
Exactly. Now, there is a subtle but important distinction that the video pointed out. Using enhance on a draft might not give you the exact same result as using very subtle on a full quality image.
Okay, so there's a difference in how those two commands interact with drafts versus full quality images.
Right. Think of very subtle as making minor tweaks to a refined image, while enhance on a draft is more like taking a rough sketch and developing it more fully.
Got it. And what about this draft parameter mentioned in the article? How does that play into all of this?
The draft parameter lets you generate a draft image even when you're not in draft mode. It's basically a shortcut to getting a quick, low-fidelity preview.
Handy. And I think you mentioned earlier that draft jobs use less of those precious GPU hours.
Yes, they use about half, which can make a real difference if you're on a tight budget.
So it's a more economical way to explore ideas in the early stages. Makes sense. Now, beyond these headline features, what other updates or considerations did our sources bring to light?
A few things to keep in mind. Firstly, it seems some features like upscaling, the in-painting tool, and the retexture feature are still using the V6 models.
Ah, so they haven't been fully updated to V7 yet.
Not yet, but the developers have indicated that updates are coming. Secondly, move boards and the SREF functionality are working as expected, and we can expect performance improvements for those in the near future. The video also hinted at some exciting new features coming in the next 60 days or so, including new V7 capabilities for referencing specific characters and objects.
Character and object referencing. That sounds incredibly powerful for creating more complex and consistent scenes across multiple images.
It does. It could be a game changer for visual storytelling and world building.
Definitely something to look forward to. Anything else we should be aware of?
Both sources mentioned improved prompt understanding in V7, suggesting that the model is better at interpreting our instructions, even if they're a bit more nuanced.
That's always welcome.
And finally, regarding the image dimensions, it seems that both draft and full resolution images are around 1456 pixels on the shorter side, similar to V6.1. And as usual, upscaling will double those dimensions.
Okay, so similar resolution, but with all these incredible new features and improvements.
It's safe to say that V7 is a major step forward for Midjourney and for AI image generation as a whole.
Absolutely. It's faster, more powerful, more versatile, and delivers even more stunning results.
It's a truly exciting time to be a creator.
It really is. So as you head back to your creative projects, we want to leave you with a thought. How might these advancements in speed, realism, and creative control change your workflow? Will faster generation times lead you to experiment more freely? What unique visual styles will you uncover as you delve deeper into the personalization features? The potential is enormous, and we can't wait to see what you create with V7. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.